Good morning, everyone. This is your Lesser Commish here with the NGG Week 7 recap. Brownout picks up a convincing win over Ticket to Ride thanks to Saquon Barkley's thrashing of the Giants. Justin's Deli knock out the Seawards off some great rushing performances from Bijan and Ken Walker. The Webster Tigers survive a close one with the implications after some of Baker Mayfield's heroics. Win like Flynn upset the Liquidators by almost 40 points thanks to Kareem Hunt and his first-round rookies. The Kung Fu Pandas defeat My Cup Runneth Over, our new league member Nate Krenz in his first official league game, and the inaugurals take care of Project Badass thanks to solid contributions from his big three. Now, the standings were completely shaken up after this week, and to nobody's surprise, 3 of the Division of Death teams are in the hunt for the playoffs. And Win Like Flynn is making a case for the extra pick bracket as his team's been putting it together this year. This year's going out. It's like the going out party for the Division of Death. Everybody's just shooting and firing on all cylinders. For the new guy and a refresher for everybody else, the Division of Death is the Ryan Leaf division because every year that that division has existed in this league, it's just been a bloodbath down the wire every single season. Let's move on to the playoff picture. If the season ended today, Brownout at 10-4 would be the top overall seed, followed by division leaders Ticket to Ride and then Justin's Deli, both sitting at 9-5. From there, it doesn't get any easier for anybody in the playoff hunt, with the Kung Fu Pandas and the inaugurals sliding in just behind them at 10-4 each, and then they would be higher seeds if it weren't for the interdivision madness. The Liquidators are our last team, rounding it out, the top 6 with 8 wins themselves. Our extra pick bracket currently is the Webster Tigers at 8-6 versus Win Like Flynn at 7-7. And some additional context for Flynn. I'm giving Flynn his props this time. He has the second most points against in the league this year at like 1,050 and is a 500 team sitting in 4th place in that division. Just absolutely crazy. Realignment will be good for his health and his roster and just everything. So shout out to Flynn this year. He's been holding it down as best he can in that division. The first 2 years were not so good. Now our toilet bowl bracket has My Cup Runneth Over, Project Badass, implications of the C-words, and there's really not a whole lot to discuss here, other than the C-words would have to be considered the clear favorite as it stands right now. Derrick Henry's a lock for like 25 plus points a game. It's ridiculous. We'll see if he can keep it up by that time into the season. But yeah, right now it looks like Rick could walk away with that toilet bowl bracket. And then lastly, we have some transactions to dig into for those that may have missed. I know Unicorn was out and still is for like a week, I think, doing stuff in Africa, which is cool. Our new owner, Nate, took over for Dan, and I'm sure after careful consideration, he said it's time to blow it up. That's something Dan never did, and props to him for sticking his convictions and staying mid, I guess. But Nate was like, you know what, we're tanking, so tanking responsibly. And the first trade involved shipping Amari Cooper to Ticket to Ride for a 2026 third-round pick, and Nate picks up Cooper's salary this year, but not the $50 salary in 2025. Good move for both teams considering their directions in 2024. It's complete opposite. Made sense for both squads. The second move had Rodgers packing his bags to join Win Like Flynn, and that helps solidify the once shaky QB room. I know Blind always gave him shit for. This kind of helps prime Flynn for a playoff push. Nate receives Pop Douglas on a cheap 2-year deal, and he picks up another 2026 third-round pick. Nate's covering Rodgers' $120 salary this year. This is our first trade in a while that has a condition to it. If Rodgers has more than 25 total touchdowns at the end of the season, that's passing and rushing, and it would need to be more, so 26 is what the number. Flynn's 2026 third converts to a 2026 second instead. Rodgers didn't make a ton of sense on Nate's roster anyways. He's a 40-year-old quarterback that's probably retiring next year. I mean, with the way the Jets look, even with I know Adams just got there and all that, but with the way they look, maybe he retires next year. But Rodgers didn't make a ton of sense on Nate's roster. He's embracing a youth movement, and he's able to shut off that $120 salary off the books next year. And, that additional cap might help prepare him to run at some free agents in a class that might be better than people expect. And then last but not least, K-Migs got involved in the action, acquiring Cooper Kupp from Nate in exchange for a 2025 third and a 2026 second. Nate is covering the entire Cup contract, $170 this year and $243 next year, which is a lot of money. And we have a condition involved where if Cup plays 7 games between the 20th of this month and the end of the fantasy season, which in the condition was denoted week 18, but might need clarity on if that's week 18 or week 17. Kane makes 26 second, becomes a 26 first. And let's hope that Cup stays healthy and plays so there's no drama for a blind spiral at the end of the year when he's sorting all this out. And then, like a final interesting note, 3 of the teams in Division of Death now have negative cap for next season. That's the inaugurals, that's Brownout, and that's Win Like Flynn, all in the negative for next season. And there's a way to get around it, but Kung Fu Panda is the one team that's not negative in that division, is sitting at I think $300 to $400 worth of cap space next year. So that's just a little interesting tidbit. But that'll do it for this week. Thank you for tuning in.